And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report on this third hour broadcast, worldwide, international, broadcasting from the Chanigung Palace, the center of it all. Your host, Second King, reporting from the Chanigung Palace with Tim Elder. And this hour we are joined by patriot and man of God, Jerry Haynes. It's just spelled Hines, but it's Haynes. It's confusing, isn't it? Jerry Haynes, president of International Protective Service Agency and executive protection trainings worldwide. He goes and travels overseas all the time. He's such a busy guy, hard to get him. Always traveling, training different law enforcement, different security personnel, executive security personnel, a high level, high asset value, individuals which are being trained by his people. So Jerry, talk about your organization, but at the same time, let us know why it's so important to at least have a basic awareness of survival and sheepdog mentality. Go ahead, Jerry.
Thank you. Well, one is I've been doing security for now 40 years, so it's become somewhat of a lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
And as we were talking on the break, it's unfortunate that so many people have a sheep mentality where they just don't understand. It's almost like they don't have the capacity to understand what's happening around them. But they do recognize the importance of when there is danger to find a sheepdog. So you have those that become sheepdogs who protect the sheep. In the security field, really what we mostly do is we try to avoid trouble by pre-planning. We say it advance, advance, advance is to pre-plan ahead of trouble. So number one is our first goal is to avoid trouble. Second is that should trouble arise, to have a plan, to have a second plan. We call it plans within plans. So, in terms of preparation for these trying times is to be prepared, to do everything you can to not engage into a battle. We often say we use Sun Tzu, a battle not fought is a battle won. It's also important to know yourself and know your enemy. So what are we facing? What dangers are we facing in today's times? It's important for us to recognize that. And on the King's Report, you're highlighting that. You're telling people, you're screaming at the top of your head, be prepared. It's better to be prepared and not have to do anything than something happen and not be prepared.
Well, it's interesting because these are very important spiritual, not only physical, but spiritual principles that you just heard Jerry talk about. Now, I've heard you talk about situational awareness and how that's like one of your first layers of defense. Talk more to us about situational awareness.
Well, and that's critical. And one is it starts with yourself, self-preservation. And we all have that right to have self-preservation. It's our right to exist. It's our right to defend ourselves against any adversary or any problem. Second is then your family, your next immediate, and you can't protect your family if you're dead, so you have to keep yourself alive, and then you're protecting your family, and then the next level is your extended family, your community. And so you have to prepare. Situational awareness is critical. You have to know your surroundings, and so one is you have to become familiar with your surroundings. What are normal in your surroundings, around your home, when you leave your house to the car. One of the greatest dangers of people today is their smartphone, because they bury their head, even they've been on their smartphone all morning.
So true.
They leave their house, on the way to the car, they're still looking at their smartphone. So there's a time to put that away.
Zombies.
So situational awareness is to recognize, when you're in a safe environment in your home, you can be looking at your smartphone or you can be on a computer, but when it's time to pack up and go to your car and get in your car, the first situational awareness is to be aware there could be problems out there.
Yes.
So to put your phone away, you go to the car and to have your head up and be alert, to be looking for potential dangers, and then when you're in your car, not just when you get in the car, suddenly while you're warming the car up, you can look at your smartphone. You need to make sure you lock the door.
That's so key. Like, that's such an important habit, right? Like, I always try to get the queen to this habit. When you're sitting in a car, lock the door. Look around. Basic stuff. Go ahead. No, go ahead. They're very important.
Then let's just say you're in the mall and your wife is shopping, and you want to check, use your smartphone. It's important to put your back to a wall. Find a place where you know what's behind you and where it's safe, so you can sit where no one can come up from behind you. And then if you're going to look at your smartphone, don't put your head down and bury yourself in it. Lift your head. Make sure you can see things around you.
Now, for some sheep, this makes me so paranoid. Wait a minute, in the shopping mall there, don't you know that I'm safe? Hello, you know that people are being stabbed in the shopping mall? The whole funny Alex Jones song. These are actual real stories. People got stabbed by these migrants in the freaking shopping mall, got blown up by terrorist bombs in the shopping mall. Absolutely. Hello. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, absolutely, and also
Oh
to
my
know
gosh.
your surroundings. Where are you? So in your home, where can I go? Part of situation awareness is, one is to recognize dangers, to have a plan. So if you're in a mall, should something happen, and in today's society, you have, active shooters,
Yeah.
active shooter situations. You have riots. You have now these protesters have a mob type mentality. At any given time, it's like a
Pull up
spark.
pictures of Antifa, video of Antifa.
Yeah, and those kind of situations can arise quickly.
Did you see this where these guys were praying, these Christians were praying, and the stupid, violent Antifa mob, George Soros funded, was coming and beating them over the head with clubs? Did you see this? In California, Berkeley? You're from California.
Yes.
Didn't you join in Berkeley?
Well, no, but I joined in Boonville, but
Oh my
sadly, California has become Mexifornia. I'm sorry. It's
It's
not the place that I was born.
California. Oh my goodness. Now, you talk about home protection. Cook Jung just showed me yesterday when we were at the international meeting. He showed me this video that's going viral of this house that's made out of cement. They can actually make the house out of cement. It's very fast, very quick. It's actually very affordable. It's fireproof, weatherproof, and not bomb-proof, but it will basically stop small pistol rounds and even some rifle rounds. And it's basically a concrete house, and you build it like a normal house. They literally fill it with concrete. Okay, and it looks like a normal house because they cover it up with, dry sheetrock and all that kind of stuff. It's literally a concrete wall. What are the basic principles for home defense? Talk to us about home defense. How do you answer the door? How do you position and scan? Where your layout is. What's the most secure place in a home? What's the least secure home? Talk to us about a little bit about that.
Well, one of the security principles of protection is called hardening the target. So, and that's concentric rings of protection, or defenses. So you start with yourself, then your next layer, again, you're the protector of your family. Now in your home, you start from the outermost. Do you have a gate? Can you control the gate? If people can drive right up and come to your front door, then your front door is your outermost perimeter.
Yes.
So, and again, when you're answering the door, are you expecting
put
someone?
those mobs up.
Are you expecting anybody to come? Definitely make sure that before you just open the door, you look to see who it is.
Who is it? Just don't open the damn door. Golly, these kids, I'm gonna just open up the door.
Exactly. Take a look. Who is it? Are you expecting anybody? Do you want to see them? You know, and there's no shame in telling someone, I'm not interested, go away. You're not obligated to talk to someone who appears to be a salesman. Are they really a salesman? Or do they have, some other plans? And if that becomes apparent, it's a good idea not to stand there. Where in your home is a safe room? Where can you go within your home to, protect yourself and your family? Can you gather up your family? There's a trouble. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go to the basement. That may be a safe place. Bathrooms generally are considered a good safe room in your home because typically they have ceramic tiles. There's plumbing.
Interesting.
It's a smaller room, and it's a room that you can fortify. If your home has a walk-in closet, it's a good idea to actually consider that as a safe room to fortify your closet door so that you can, a lot of times a walk-in closet has a little more room. You can store items in there for, if you have to hunker down for a long time. For wealthy families or celebrities, that's a plan that we would make for them. Why not have that plan for ourselves also to look?
Now, you do a lot of celebrities protection too in New York, you name it, because you're based out of New York. I know you've done a lot of celebrity protection. And of course, I heard some of the stories you guys were involved in concerts and all sorts of, insanity. Give us a taste of one of the stories that pops to your mind about, in terms of when you were protecting some celebrity or in that kind of environment, something that went down.
Well, you think about this. If you look at Princess Di as an example, what was the threat that Princess Di was fleeing from? The night that she died. Tragically, it was paparazzi. What she was trying to obtain was privacy. So they were surrounded by paparazzi, and the paparazzi are so invasive.
Relentless.
The word paparazzi is a coined term that the Italian media gave for the photographers. It's like a pest. They're a nuisance, The paparazzi, they're like one of those flies that buzz around and you can't do anything about.
Right.
And unfortunately for celebrities, they cherish privacy. Now they live in the spotlight, and sometimes they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. They want that attention. They thrive on that attention, but it's so invasive. And so there are times where they just have to take extra measures to try to have privacy. For example, I had one of my clients for a number of years were I won't mention their names, but they were twins, and they were under a lot of media scrutiny. Paparazzi followed them everywhere that they went, so we would sometimes have to use decoys. We would pull the Suburbans up, the security would jump out, the paparazzi would surround them, wait for the celebrities to come, and I would be driving them out of the garage in a low-profile car where they were hidden. So we would have to sometimes take extreme measures to afford them privacy that they could go somewhere without having this incredible scrutiny. And one thing, when you look at the media or the paparazzi, you also add in their stalkers or fans who are over the top. They're excessive. We study in our training programs. There was an actress named Claudia Schiffer who had a stalker, and it was so intense for her that she left the profession. And
she was a model, wasn't she?
Yes, and she moved to, she was an aspiring actress. She moved to an undisclosed location. Sadly, the stalker watched a TV program where a private investigator mentioned that he had found somebody's address. And so this stalker hired a private investigator. He found the location where this woman was living. And then he went to her location, knocked on the door. He actually did surveillance before to make sure that that's where she lived. He knocked on the door, and then he killed her.
Wow, he killed her?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's the thing. Celebrities are faced with obsessive fans who In our modern culture, they watch a movie, they watch a TV program, they come to the realization in their own mind that they now have a relationship with this person.
Right, right.
And they become obsessed, and they believe that this person was that maybe meant to be for them. Like
Yes, yes.
my company was involved with Sheryl Crow was performing at a concert venue in New York where we provide security, and she had a stalker, and we actually were instrumental. The stalker came to the back door of the venue. Our security personnel recognized that this was a stalker. Now, he was allegedly a Navy SEAL.
Wow.
It turned out he wasn't a Navy SEAL, but he was assigned with the SEALs. But, you know, here's an adversary, and you're told that this person is a Navy SEAL.
Boy.
So now you have to engage in this person, and we basically dealt with this person until the police came and they arrested him because there was an order of protection. He eventually had his day in court, and he turned to Cheryl and said, "I love you." And that's basically all he wanted to be able to do, and she ignored him, and the case, you know, disappeared. He disappeared. Nothing came of it. But, you know, celebrities are sometimes faced with these situations where there is an obsessive fan who now is targeting them. It's like Mark Chapman and John Lennon. Now, interesting, and when you study this case, Mark Chapman loved John Lennon, but that's why he killed him. You know? And hours before he was killed, he actually got his autograph and got a picture with him.
Oh, my Lord.
And then a couple hours later, he killed him.
Now, this is very important, speaking of stalkers, because, you know, celebrities have to think about protection. They have to think about their, safety. How much more the people of God, who are doing much greater work than the celebrities in terms of God's work, that we have to be thinking of our protection, our children, and our generations, our lineage that is going down and will be the inheritors of the kingdom. How much more important? This is critical. We'll be right back after the short break with more Jerry Hines and security preparedness. Stay with us.
I'm down here at the range today. I just learned a new technique from the father of the .44 Magnum, Elmer Keith, which is called shooting out of the notch, which allows you to make really long distance shots and still have an extremely precise sight picture. So I brought my CW9 car down, and with this little gun, we're gonna shoot this little munchkin at 200 yards up in the hills, applying this technique, and hopefully we'll make the shot. To apply this technique, instead of using the blade of the front sight lined up with the top of the rear sight, I'm going to take the dot of the front sight and raise it up so that it's out of the notch, but I'm still going to keep the front sight on my target. Bringing that front sight up like that is going to compensate for the bullet drop over that excessively long distance with just this little gun. So if applied right, we should be making contact. Let's see how it goes. I saw this shot, so I'm a little bit out of breath because you gotta run to make sure that is what I thought it was, and it was. So while making this shot, from that distance with these white dot sights, it literally would cover the entire target. You couldn't see what you were shooting. So using the Elmer Keith technique, you were able to raise it out of the back notch. I can't breathe. Out of the back notch, allowing you to keep your accuracy, aim, and also still see the target, which is key because it was a hard shot, not gonna lie. But yeah, it went great, and Elmer knows what he's talking about. And for such a small gun to be able to take that hit, I'm very impressed with this. All right, guys, be sure to like and share, and I'll see you out on the range.
That was awesome. Hey, can I try that one? Yeah, let's do it with the 380. Does everybody have eyes and ears?
We are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. I'm your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, King of Cheongguk, reporting live from the Cheongguk Palace here with Tim Elder and Jerry Haynes, talking about security and preparedness. Now, we have two major incidents the stories that we're breaking today. Number one, of course, the terror incident in London, and number two, the missiles that have now flown over again, an ICBM nuclear cable missile that has flown over Japan. This is now the second in the last month. Okay, now obviously the first level of awareness, of course, I would think in my mind is don't be in those kind of countries and or those kind of big cities as a place. But there's a lot of people who, for whatever reason, are in those scenarios. What can they do in the scenarios that are now presenting themselves before them in the UK or they have to use the subway every day, or in Hokkaido, Japan? What can they do to begin the process of empowerment, not just sitting around waiting for, like sheep, for the government to do something? What can they do to begin the process of preparedness and security?
You've highlighted most of it. It's self-preparedness is worst case scenario. Honestly, terrorism finds its way anywhere. In the U.S., any state, rural areas, it can happen anywhere. The first, is to have survival supplies. Absolutely. Yeah, and you have to think about what if something happens, what's going to happen? The loss of power, loss of communications. For some folks, the loss of knowledge, what's going on, is going to freak them out. So you have to prepare to accept fate. You have to prepare to understand, should something happen, it's happening. You have to acknowledge it, you have to accept it. And then you go to your plan A. Okay, I have water. If you don't have certain supplies, get them quick. I've been through Hurricane Irene and Hurricane Sandy, and where I lived, north of New York City, we were out of power for 6 days. But I was prepared. I had a generator, I had a wood stove, so I had heat, I had gas, hot water, and I had food supplies. Today's society, people live out of their refrigerators. They hand to mouth. Quite honestly, we're 9 meals away from anarchy. If people go 9 meals without food, they're going to start freaking out.
We've seen that in the hurricane, people looting and breaking buildings, property, burglary, all that stuff.
Yeah.
No, and some people do it for selfish, but if people go without food for a long period, they're going to start looking for food.
Yeah.
So when you're keeping a supply of food, you have to be prepared to defend your supplies for your family.
You need to defend. Now, what about all this Facebook craze where people are actually putting so much information on Facebook, literally putting it out for the public view? Show them their whole house, everything. It's like...
No, we live in a very open society now. Social media, I'm surprised. I use social media for marketing to let people know what we're doing.
There's pluses and minuses, right?
Yes, I mean it has its values for information. You can also have private groups, and that may be something that you set up with your friends. But you have to expect in certain disasters or an outbreak, riots, there may be a loss of power, may loss of communications.
I mean, a stalker could literally look at your Facebook page, check out your environment, And, all the pictures you're putting up, you name
Well,
it.
and people check in where they're going, we're away. Like I took my family on vacation, but I posted our photos after we came back.
Yeah, after you get back.
So
Exactly.
don't
And
put them
some
while
people
you're
turn
out
on
there.
the location device, and you can tell literally where that person is right now. It's insane. You're letting little people track you, give them their birthdays. It's completely insane.
No, and also, yeah, you don't want to post a video or photos of all your supplies because then you're letting
Yes,
everybody
right.
know I have all this.
These are the guns
yeah,
I have.
Come and
These
get
are
it.
Now that's another level of protection. Having some level of concealment, even when you have a concealed carry weapon, you conceal that for a level of protection, so the predator doesn't understand what's going on. Right? And like we know that predators operate in the dark, in concealment. How important is it, for example, to have a proper lighting around your residence?
Well, absolutely. And I tell people, I teach a class on physical security, it's a one-day overview. Lighting is cheap. And it, most invaders, most home invaders, things, they don't like the light. They want the darkness. So you want to light up your home. Now, you don't necessarily want to light it up like, it's a billboard or something like that. What I have, when you walk into my house, when you walk up, the lights come on through motion.
Motion detector.
And that may startle some people, and that's a deterrent there.
That's a serious deterrent, isn't it?
And part of security, as we call it, the 4 or 5 Ds, you want to have a deterrent. You want to be able to detect problems. So that's why motion sensors that turn lights on detect someone approaching. It is a deterrent. Light is a big deterrent. Having
Yes.
well-lit lights.
Ooh, that's a spiritual message right there.
Yeah, and then also a delay. If somebody wanted to say, do something, get in and get out, anything that will possibly cause them a delay may ward them off. And then the possibility of detaining them.
Interesting.
So, and if people know that they may be faced with a harder adversary, they may turn to an easier adversary. So you want to harden your home, make it more difficult for, say, a home invader to come, or in times of trouble, if people are coming to try to steal food from you, to make it more difficult so they go to an easier target. So to put
Right.
up signs, even quite honestly, signs that say alarm system, that alone will deter some people, whether there's an
Or
alarm system
beware
or
of
not.
dog.
Dogs,
Right.
Dogs, or even a little yap dog that barks like crazy, can call attention to somebody.
Right.
And if there's too much barking or too much noise, there is a possibility that some invaders will find an easier target. They'll just go to another home where, it looks easier. Situational awareness, also what we call surveillance detection. If somebody's going to do something, it's likely that they're going to surveil you. If a car goes back and forth
Yes.
several times and slows down, and you make notice of that, so sometimes, I may go out on my porch if a car's slowing down, I see you. So now they know I know. So that's part of your defenses too, to let people know, I see you, you're not getting away with something. So in that alone, some people may look for an easier target, where somebody is oblivious. They're on their porch, buried in their smartphone, and the person sees this person's not even aware, doesn't even see me.
Yeah.
I can easily approach them, but when you're there and somebody slows down, they're looking and you're looking back at them, now they know they've been made. They've been observed.
Yes.
So that may, so that's part of also being aware of your surroundings. So you have situation awareness, you have surveillance detection. You're looking for, are there surveillors who are looking at you? Are they planning something?
Now these are critical. For example, you could say in Japan they got these missiles found. What the heck can they do? They can't control these missiles. They don't have things to shoot them down. But you can start doing this. You can start changing your perspective. Just what Jerry's talking about right now. You can start. This is empowering to even think about these things. Okay, maybe you can't control the Hwasong 12 that's flying over you with ICBM, launched by Kim Jong-un. But you can control your environment. You control your mentality, your mind state, your children, the people you love. You can start talking about networking. You can start preparing, just getting a bottle of water or a gallon of water every time you go to the supermarket and getting a canned food every time. You don't know what will happen, but small ways you can empower yourself and stop feeling helpless, that you have to rely on a government that constantly tells you something and that's totally is not prepared for you and has been proven to not be prepared for you. And just by talking about the dialogue, making a YouTube channel, just saying, hey, in America there's this thing called prepping and millions of people do this. Maybe we should start this dialogue in Japan, in Hokkaido right now.
Also, if you live in an urban area, that may not be safe if there's a major catastrophe there. So one plan is find someplace you can go to, do you have a summer house, a summer cabin, a location that maybe multiple families can go to and share? And the plan is, if trouble hits, particularly in urban areas. I mean, my office is in Midtown Manhattan. I live north of the city, but I have a place to go to. And the plan for my family is head north, get out of Dodge. As soon as a problem, now when 9/11 happened, I went in and I went to Ground Zero, but I went there to help. So it was different. So a lot of people were leaving, and I was going in, and went through roadblocks and things. I went there as a first responder to help because I was an EMT and I wanted to go and help, and actually went there. But so there are some that have those kind of skills that can help. But if you live in a certain area, and as soon as a problem hits, you need to have a plan. What do we do? If you're asking that at that moment, it's too late. You're not prepared.
It's way too late.
Yeah. What do we do? It's too late.
You
need to say, let's go. Plan B. In my garage are bins, big bins with clothing. 1, 2, 3. They're in the car and we're gone. Now, fortunately, I have a place to go to where there's a lot of that already there. If I'm not able to go, if for some reason you're not able to go, then to have supplies where you are for survival. Because in some types of incident, we're talking about nuclear, you may want to shelter in place.
Quite.
Stay in place and not move for a while until the dust clears. So in that case, you have to make sure you have supplies, ready supplies. You're able to protect your home. Because again, within a day or two, people are going to be foraging for food. They're going to be looking. I need to eat.
What was that statistic, Tim? Within 72 hours, 90% of the radioactivity is 90% less harmful, right? Within 3 days, 72 hours. So it's a shocking statistic, but you have to hunker down. You can't be running around after there's a bomb blast to try to check things out. You're going to get radiated.
One of our plans when we do tabletop exercises where we say, what if, so what? What if this happens, so what can I do about it? We're not being crass by saying what if, so what. In each scenario that you create, and every person can do that, especially sanctuary members. What if this happens in this area?
And it's not paranoid to have some basic level survival instinct. My God, these people are just trying to make you feel like you're wacky for even thinking about being prepared and not trusting faithfully the archangelic federal government that constantly tells you that they're prepared but never is prepared.
It's funny, I've been into positive thinking for years. My wife sometimes says, you're the most negative thinker because you're always thinking, what if? What if this scenario happens? What if this... But part of positive thinking, is to think positive about negative situations.
Yes.
You have to accept fate. And you said it earlier in the program, wishful thinking. You can't wish this away from us. We have to prepare for it. And then when it happens, you have to accept fate, that it's happening. Okay, it's happening. And then you already have a plan, and you go about it. You accept that it's happened, okay, now I have to deal with it. So what if, so what? What if this happens, so what do I do about it? So what families can do in any environment can think, what if this happens?
Yes.
And then do a tabletop. Plan it out. Okay, where are we? Okay, we got nukes flying over. A nuke goes off. Okay, do we move right away or do we hunker down?
Well, that's the important point. Talk to your kids about this. Tabletop. Like, say, what if, kids? What if we did? What would you do? This isn't like they would be interested in that. They actually would be interested in that conversation.
You know what? If you're persistent, I told my daughter, and she goes, "Dad, I get it. If you know the brown stuff hits the fan, head north. I got it. I know the plan." You know, because and, you know they don't want to accept that. Okay, Dad. Okay, yeah, you're being paranoid. You're being over the top. You know what? That's also parental instinct. And
That's a
parental,
fatherly instinct.
That's my responsibility
Yes.
too. I have to take that responsibility to my family. Family, my job is to keep you safe. My job is to protect you. So if we're scattered, we don't have communications. Here's the plan. Go to this location, and then we'll regroup there, and then we can go from there. So get to this place. So it's a plan.
Excellent words of wisdom from the security expert. We'll be right back after the short break. Stay with us.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. On our final segment here with Jerry Hines, talking about these important issues. Now, Jerry, talk about the different levels of awareness, the core, how you get that security sheepdog mentality into your core. You were talking about even the sheepdog, the mentality. What does it do? It puts itself between the wolf and sheep. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important for each person. First of all, I mentioned earlier, we have the right for self-existence. So one is that basic defense, and we have different minds. And part of survival training and preparing for worst case scenarios is to prepare, our mind. Now we have our conscious mind, where we think. Then we have our subconscious mind, and then we have our being. So as a protector, we try to instill into protectors that you have to, you take information in your conscious mind, and then you instill it where it becomes automatic, and that's your subconscious mind. But then you also have to instill it into the core of your existence, your being.
Yes.
So honestly, in a survival mindset, that's That's the bare minimum mindset that we have to survive anything. A fight, warfare, protecting our family. So there's several mindsets. One is survival mindset, and that's recognizing that you may be injured in a fight, but you can fight. You have to stay in the
yes.
fight. Don't give up. So as a firearms instructor, we teach if you're injured, if you have your dominant hand and you have your support hand, if your dominant hand is injured, you have to be able to use your firearm, say, with your non-dominant hand, your support hand. A semi-automatic firearm, you may have to reload it one-handed. You can do it. We teach methods how to do it. So part of that is that survival mindset. Stay in the fight. Don't give up. You're injured. So what? You can fight. Keep
Yes.
fighting. Keep fighting. So in an emergency situation, whether it's weather-related or terrorism, you may be injured. Guess what? You got to stay in the fight. You have to have that mindset. Don't give up. Then there's the warrior mindset. So people are knocking on your door. They're pounding on the door. They're coming in. Now, wishful thinking is, oh, I hope they go away. But you know what? You have to accept fate. You know what? They might come in. Guess what? Now you have to change. You may be fearful, and that's normal. You have to change fear into anger and say, you know what? Not today. Not today. It's not happening today. No one's going to take my life or my family's life. It's not happening. But that can't come from your conscious mind. And even your subconscious mind, one layer back, you want to train so it's there. You have to instill this mindset into the core of your existence, your basic survival, and your preparedness to fight. Now, generally, I'm not a fighter, but guess what? You come after me or my family, you're going to get all you got. I'm going to come at you with everything. I'm going to come after you. But you have to change your survival mindset now into a warrior mindset.
Yes.
To be, oh, come on, let's do it. It's you and me. And, I'm going to come out the victor. And I tell people I'm a winner because I choose to be a winner and I refuse to be a loser. So in firearms, I say, in business, I'm into win-win. Hey, let's all win. Let it be good for everyone. But guess what? It comes to survival or in a firefight, using firearms to defend myself, it's win-lose.
It's win-lose, no win-win.
And I tell people, I have rule number one.
That's right.
I don't lose. That's not an acceptable consideration.
Yeah.
So, but you have to instill that into
Yes.
into the core of your existence. You have to tell people, you have to put it into your being. No, you're not taking my life. You're not taking my family's life. It ain't happening. But that can't come from your conscious thought or even your subconscious thought. It has to come out of the core of your existence. But you have to put it there.
Yes.
You have to instill that into your being. So, the King's Report, you're constantly, you're shouting at the top of your lungs, be prepared, be prepared. So people have to take that to heart. They have to put that into their being. Another mindset is a protector's mindset. That sheepdog mentality. I'm going to protect my family. I have to protect myself. Now, I may put myself in harm's way. I may stand between my family and the wolf. And I take that. I purposely. I have the capacity of using violence to counter violence. You have to accept that. And that's where a lot of the sheep, they don't have that capacity. So there's going to be some people that aren't able to convert from being a sheep to a sheepdog.
Right.
But we have to recognize when it comes to our family, we have to be that way. I'm the father. I'm the king of my household.
Yes.
And I'm going to defend my kingdom and my kingdom, and I'm going to defend my family.
Now that's such an important mentality, especially Korea, Japan, where they're literally under nuclear war. They feel totally powerless, helpless, and at the behest of the federal government that's constantly always telling them wrong info. But you can start in small places. Change your mentality. Start networking. Start preparing in small ways. That makes a massive difference. Start talking about this at church, in the communities. Start talking with your pastor. Start talking about with your friends, your family. Ask them questions. Do a tabletop discussion that Jerry talking about. Just even do an assessment of your house. Where's the weak points? Where's the strong points? Where's your bug out location? Can you get to another place if you have to? These kind of things, of course, I know the sanctuary people are already, thinking about that. They're already doing that. But you can extend that beyond sanctuary and include other like-minded, able-minded people that are already moved by the Holy Spirit to already have a survival instinct and to know the spirit of times we're in. I mean, you don't have to be a brain scientist to have some discernment in this time. And they can connect with us. And God can use you to be able to witness on the greatness of the kingdom that is coming and to give them some real hope through this tribulation, which is not centered on wishful thinking, fanciful thinking, daydreaming, and Korean dramas, but that is focused in reality to get through, to connect back with your core, that survival instinct that God gave you, your right to self-preservation, to the gift that God wanted to inherit to all humanity from the beginning of time and now finally can with Christ's kingdom that is coming. Folks, we got to be awake. We got to be prepared step by step. Just take a step today to do something. Just start talking with a friend. Just go out and get a small survival kit. Just go out and get some pepper spray. Whatever it is, you're starting the process into this world of becoming a leader, a sheepdog that can help and save the sheep and lead them to God's kingdom. Thank you for joining us this morning on the King's Report. There's so much going on, so much insanity, but we are in His hands. But we also have our 5%. We have to also do our part so that God can utilize us as His hands and feet in this world. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock with Tim Elder on the King's Report.
5 o'clock.
I'm sorry. 5 o'clock. Did I say 6? 5 o'clock with Tim Elder on the King's Report. And we'll see you this weekend, Sunday service, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. God bless, Godspeed, and may His kingdom come.
You got to move if you're ready or not. Give it all that you got. Turn it up now. You got to move. It's your chance to fly with your head